No cameras were allowed inside. No reporters stood outside the gates. There was no emergency announcement, no royal speech, and no official press conference. Yet behind the walls of Buckingham Palace, a private discussion was quietly unfolding, one that would soon spark fresh debate across Britain and among royal watchers around the world. For most people, the British royal family appears united whenever they step onto the balcony or attend a public ceremony. Every smile is carefully observed, every handshake is photographed, and every appearance sends a message to millions. But behind those carefully planned moments, important conversations often take place far away from public view. In recent months, attention has once again turned toward the relationship between King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William, and Princess Catherine. While the palace has continued presenting a picture of stability, royal commentators have suggested that difficult decisions are constantly being made behind closed doors, decisions involving protocol, public responsibility, and the future image of the monarchy. According to royal experts, every official title, every ceremonial role, and every position inside the royal family carries symbolic importance. These are not simply names printed on official documents. They represent history, responsibility, and the way future generations will remember the institution. That is why even a small administrative change can quickly become a national conversation. Sources close to royal affairs have repeatedly pointed out that King Charles faces a unique challenge. As a husband, he naturally wants to support Queen Camilla. But as monarch, every decision must also protect the institution he now leads. Balancing those two responsibilities has never been simple. For Queen Camilla, the journey into public acceptance has been anything but easy. Years of criticism, constant media attention, and comparisons with the past have followed her throughout her royal life. Although public opinion has gradually softened over time, every major royal event continues to bring renewed discussion about her place within the monarchy. At the same time, Prince William and Princess Catherine represent the future of the crown. Their growing responsibilities have placed even greater attention on how the royal family prepares for the next generation. Royal historians often explain that maintaining a clear structure today helps avoid confusion in the years ahead. And that is exactly where the latest debate began. Inside palace offices, discussions reportedly focused on how official records, ceremonial traditions, and royal protocol should be presented moving forward. While these conversations may appear technical on the surface, they often carry emotional consequences for the people involved. Some observers believed the palace was simply updating long-standing procedures. Others wondered whether deeper family tensions had quietly influenced the timing of those decisions. No one outside the palace knew exactly what had been discussed. No official statement answered every question. And as speculation continued to grow, newspapers, television programs, and royal analysts began offering completely different interpretations of what might be happening behind the scenes. But the biggest surprise was still waiting. Because the next development would transform what seemed like an ordinary palace matter into one of the most talked-about royal stories of the year. And once that information reached the public, every member of the royal family would find themselves under an even brighter spotlight. The moment a royal decision becomes a topic of public discussion, controlling the story becomes almost impossible. Every statement is analyzed, every photograph is examined, and every silence begins to create new questions. That was exactly what started happening. As conversations around the future direction of the monarchy continued, attention turned toward the different roles being carried by each senior member of the royal family. King Charles was no longer only viewed as a father or a husband. He was being judged as a monarch responsible for protecting an institution that has existed for centuries. For Queen Camilla, the situation carried a different emotional weight. Her journey inside the royal family had been unlike anyone else's. She entered royal life during a period filled with criticism and public debate. Over the years, she worked to establish her role through charity work, public appearances, and support for the king's duties. But history has a long memory. Every new conversation about royal tradition brought back discussions from the past. Supporters believed Camilla had shown commitment and dedication. Critics continued to question the changes that had taken place within the monarchy over the years. Inside the palace, however, the focus was not only on the past, it was also on the future. Prince William's position has become increasingly important as the next heir to the throne. With that responsibility comes a different approach toward the monarchy, one focused on stability, public trust, and preparing the institution for the next generation. Royal observers have often noted that William and Catherine represent a new era. Their public image has been built around modern communication, family values, and a more direct connection with the public. But every generation of the royal family inherits complicated decisions from the one before it, and this created a difficult balance. How does a monarchy respect its history while also preparing for change? How does it protect personal relationships while maintaining official traditions? These questions have followed the royal family for decades. Behind the scenes, palace officials are responsible for maintaining a carefully organized system. From ceremonial arrangements to official announcements, every detail is considered because even a small mistake can create confusion. A simple change in wording can become a headline. A missing detail can become a worldwide discussion. And a private disagreement can quickly become a public debate. As speculation increased, royal experts began examining every public appearance more closely. Was there a hidden message behind certain decisions? Were certain traditions changing? Or was the palace simply adapting to a new era? No one outside the institution had all the answers. But one thing was becoming clear. The relationship between personal emotions and royal duty was once again at the center of attention. The pressure was not only coming from the media, it was also coming from the expectations placed on every member of the royal family. King Charles had to think about the future of the crown. Queen Camilla had to continue representing the monarchy while carrying the weight of her past. William and Catherine had to prepare for responsibilities that would one day become theirs. And somewhere between tradition and transformation, the palace faced a question that has challenged every generation of royals. Should the institution change with the times, or should the people inside it change for the institution? As this debate continued to grow, a new development pushed the story into even more intense territory. A decision that appeared to be about royal procedure began raising much bigger questions about loyalty, family, and the future image of the monarchy itself. And the next chapter would reveal why this issue became impossible for the palace to ignore. As the debate continued, one reality became impossible to ignore. Every decision made inside the royal family carries two different meanings. To the public, it may appear as a simple adjustment, a change in procedure, or another official update. But inside the palace, these decisions often represent something much bigger. The balance between personal emotions, family history, and the responsibility of protecting the monarchy. King Charles has spent his entire life preparing for his role as monarch. He understands that the crown is built on continuity, tradition, and public confidence. But becoming king also placed him in one of the most difficult positions imaginable, making choices that could affect the people closest to him. For Queen Camilla, the journey has always been connected to resilience. Her role within the royal family was shaped by years of public attention and intense scrutiny. Over time, she built a reputation through her work, her support for causes she believed in, and her commitment to royal duties. But royal life is not only about what happens today, it is also about how history records the past. That is why debates around royal roles, titles, and traditions create such strong reactions. They are not only about words or ceremonies, they are about identity and legacy. For Prince William and Princess Catherine, the focus has increasingly moved toward the future. As the next generation of the monarchy, they carry the responsibility of representing a changing institution. Their challenge is to respect centuries of tradition, while also responding to a world that expects transparency, relevance, and connection. The future of the crown will not be decided by one single moment. It will be shaped by thousands of decisions made over time. Every public appearance, every official statement, every choice about how the royal family presents itself. And that is why even small changes can create enormous discussions. Royal experts often point out that the monarchy survives because it adapts. Throughout history, the institution has faced criticism, uncertainty, and moments of division. Yet each generation has found a way to continue. The current generation faces the same challenge. How can the royal family honor the past without being trapped by it? How can it move forward without ignoring the people who helped shape its journey? These questions remain at the heart of every modern royal debate. While the public may never know every conversation that happens behind palace doors, one thing is certain: the decisions made today will become part of tomorrow's history. King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William, and Princess Catherine each represent a different chapter of the monarchy. One represents the responsibility of the present. One represents a journey through difficult change. And two represent the future waiting ahead. The story of the royal family has never been only about ceremonies, crowns, or official appearances. It has always been about people facing pressure, making difficult choices, and trying to protect an institution that has survived for generations. As the monarchy enters a new era, the biggest challenge may not be protecting tradition. It may be finding the right balance between tradition and change. Because in the end, history will not only remember the decisions that were made, it will remember the reasons behind them.